Good job, lady. Where you going? School Living Club. Interesting title. What does that mean? Greetings and salutations, viewers. I'm StarPrincessHLC here with another kind of review for you. This one's a little bit different. This one's actually based off of an anime. Well, it's actually originally a manga, but it has become an anime. It's an interesting little thing I saw. A friend of mine had suggested it to me, and I had to check it out for myself. And so I'm going to be going through each episode individually to talk about it. Warning, there will be spoilers, so I would advise you watching it first before you check out any of my reviews here. But the anime I am currently talking about is currently called Gakko Garashi, otherwise known as School Live. It's a really interesting anime, but like I said, I'll have a link in the description below where you can watch it on Crunchyroll, because the entire 12 episodes are currently on there with subtitles, also ads obviously, unless you subscribe or pay for the non-ad version. But like I said before, spoilers ahead, major spoilers. Like I'm saying this right off the bat, you're probably best to watch it yourself in full first and then come back to this review, because there's a lot to spoil in this, and it's a really interesting anime that I would highly recommend you see first before watching this. So, with that out of the way, let us begin. Wow! It's so good that the sun is shining right through her. First of all, this anime pretty much is like incredibly girly right off the bat. Like, it's basically surrounded around 4 girls in school. The big one that we focus on the most is Yuki. She has pink hair, she's got a kitty cat hat on, and she's very ditzy, very bubbly, and is like always excited about the next big thing that's going on in her school. And she is just a big ball of energy and pretty much the main protagonist, I think, of the series. You're breaking things. You're still breaking things. Then we have her 3 friends, one of which is called Kurumi. She seems like a tough girl from what I've seen. She's actually got like pigtails, but she seems kind of tomboyish to me, and she's always carrying around this shovel for some reason. Like, she's always in with this shovel. I don't know if it's that she's like in the horticulture club, which they talk about in the anime, but she's always seen walking around with this shovel, and she seems like always eager to use it on something, but I'm not sure what yet. But she's a very feisty girl, very tomboyish, and yeah, I'm curious to see more of her, just because we haven't really had much to deal with her, because it seems like Yuki is the main focus, but Kurumi looks like an interesting character too. What are you gonna do with that shovel, lady? Are you gonna kill the puppy? Oh, that makes it so much better. And then another friend that's in the group is known by the group as Risan. I guess she's kind of like the main kind of mother-hen leader type of the group. She's very strict, she's very straightforward, she's like the big cooker, and she kind of seems to have a bigger authority over the other girls than anyone else. So she seems like a really interesting character as well. Very strong-willed, very matter-of-fact, and the fact that she can easily just give a glare and every single one of the girls just freezes and absolutely pays attention to her. She commands a lot of respect between those 4 girls, and yeah, she seems like a really neat character as well. Curious to see where she's gonna go. But again, it seems like Yuki is the main focus throughout at least this first episode. I'm not sure about the future episodes. Oh jeez, she's pissed. Wow, she could stop everybody in her tracks. And then the last girl that's in the group is known as Miki, or what Yuki likes to call her, Mikun. I guess she's a year younger than the other girls. She's very straightforward. She's very serious. She's always got her nose in a book, and she's always kind of criticizing Yuki for some of her scatterbrained behavior, despite the fact that she calls her senpai, which I found kind of interesting, I guess, because she's apparently Yuki's older than her, so she kind of gets treated weirdly in that sense, where it's like where Yuki is older than Mikun, but Mikun acts a lot more adult about situations. But that they have a really interesting little kind of group together, the four of them, seeing them kind of interact just in this one episode. You can tell like they're really close friends, especially when Yuki gets into all sorts of mischief. Senpai? Uh-oh. You're gonna try making her notice you. But they're not the only ones. The four girls are the main thing, but they also have other characters that kind of appear in the story. Like, for example, they apparently are all part of this club called the School Living Club. Basically, I guess they all live at the school for some reason to, I guess, learn more about the different classes and such in their school. They really seem to enjoy their school, and they, I guess, live there for some reason, and that's why they're called the School Living Club. But the four of them all live together in this school alongside, strangely enough, a puppy. They have a little, I think it's a Shiba Inu puppy. His name is Toromaru, and he is absolutely adorable, but he is constantly getting into mischief. Like, apparently the little guy can open doors with his paw, and he can he's really smart. For some reason he doesn't like Miki for some reason, but he is super cute, super bouncy, and he gets into all sorts of mischief. Like, pretty much the whole bulk of this episode was Yuki and Mikun running around trying to catch Toromaru, because he was running around the school for some bizarre reason. I guess because he's a puppy and he likes to get his exercise, but he is an absolutely adorable little guy and absolutely precious. So there's that too. Wow, that puppy knows how to open doors. He's talented. We didn't actually really get much introduction to any of Yuki's classmates. We did get briefly introduced, though, to I guess one of her teachers called Megune, but I guess her real name is Sakura, because she's like, call me Sakura Sensei. So I guess Megune is just a little nickname that the girls have for her. But she seems very, well, she looks young. She almost looks like she could be a student, but she seems very quiet and doesn't stand out that much. Like, it almost seems like Yuki is the only one that really seems to talk to her, which I found kind of interesting. But it almost seems like the teacher kind of comes out of nowhere, and Yuki seems to be the only one that seems to be willing to talk to her. Everyone else seems to kind of almost ignore her. But maybe that's just me, I don't know. Ouch! That's not nice, that's your teacher! Oh man, you scarred her for life. But yeah, apart from that, like, we never really got introduced to any of the other characters, like the ones that, like the girls that were talking to Yuki in class, or even any of the other classmates. Like, they were just kind of in the background of everything. Like, you never saw them. Like, they weren't even actually that detailed either. They almost kind of showed up like, you know, white blobs, almost, like they didn't exist. And it was kind of weird, considering, like, you know, you put so much emphasis on these characters, you think you'd be trying to branch out to some of the other ones, but they don't. You know, certain points, it seems like the animation gets a little lazy. Why is everybody else not colored in and realistic? But no, that's an interesting thing with this one episode. Like, you would see, like, different types of little things that didn't seem to be kind of normal in the episode. Like, again, like I said, with the fact that they didn't go into detail with some of these other schoolmates, you'd think they'd be trying to branch out, besides like the four and then the teacher and Toromaru. But for some reason, like, you didn't really get to know any of the other classmates or anything. Where were you guys? Seriously, I didn't see anybody running around there. And again, why aren't they detailed like the other girls? It was kind of weird. And even like while Yuki and Mikun were chasing Toromaru around the school, you get like these tiny little instances where something seems a little off. Like you would see like a random crack in a window, and it's like, well, that doesn't seem right. Were those windows broken, or was that just me? That was kind of weird. Or you'd see like a pile of desks pile on top of each other, and it's like, why is that there? Why is that hallway blocked off like that? Was that a bunch of desks piled up next to each other, or is that just me? But that's the weird thing about it. Like, that's the big twist on this. This is why I said right off the bat, like, watch the video before you come to this. This has a major spoiler in it, like, right off the bat of Chapter 1. And pretty much, if you watch the first chapter, it will tell you whether or not you were going to get hooked on this anime or not. As it turns out, you find out at the very end, none of the other stuff in the school actually happened. Like, the classrooms, they're all beat up and smashed in, like it hasn't been lived in for years. There's no classmates at all. Like, as it turns out, the girls actually are living in the school because apparently there was a zombie apocalypse outside the school, and they are held up in that beat up, abandoned, rundown school for whatever reason. For some reason, the 4 girls and the dog and the teacher are living in the school. That is why they are living in the school. It turns out that everything that was happening with the classrooms and the students and everything, it's all in Yuki's head. Apparently, I guess she must have snapped under the pressure of the zombie apocalypse, so now she thinks like she's, just regularly living at school, like there's nothing different, but in reality, the world has gone to hell. Wait, that window... What the heck? Oh! Oh! Oh. But just right off of the bat, of like seeing this very first episode and kind of getting the realization right off the bat, where you just see Mikun look into the classroom where Yuki's talking to her friends, and then you just see like the cracked windows and the broken down desks, and the one friend's got like a choker of some kind, and it's just sitting idly on the desk like it's been beat up and left for a very long time. The dog's making noise in the back, but it's like, oh, that explains a lot. That explains the little subtle things you saw in the video, like the students, the backgrounds. It's kind of like, whoa, this is definitely not the cutesy little girl romp that I signed up for. It's actually kind of awesome. What's with the background? What the... But I'm guessing as time goes on, you get to see more and more of probably like how the zombie apocalypse happened, how the girls ended up in the school, why Yuki is basically thinking like everything's normal when it's not, how the girls are kind of dealing with Yuki's I guess trauma. I'm curious to see where it's gonna go in terms of storyline, because that was a quite amazing twist at the end, where it seemed like, you see these little tiny minute things in the background, but you didn't expect a twist like that unless you were like purposely looking for it. But it's really kind of cool to see that, and how the girls are going to deal with being in a zombie apocalypse while having a friend who doesn't even realize they're in a zombie apocalypse. I'm really curious to see where this the story is going to go. So I'm definitely going to be checking this out more and more. It's only 12 episodes, but I really kind of hope that if this is if you're really automatically hooked for the first episode, you're definitely going to enjoy this series. I'm sure. Like, this seems like a really interesting take on like the kind of moe anime kind of style that this is going for, and also going through a zombie apocalypse. That sounds like a really interesting, really different kind of anime. You don't see the broken window? Or the... She doesn't know. Okay, you have my undivided attention now. Animation-wise, it looks absolutely great. The music is very, very catchy. Like the opening title sequence, like I'm just bouncing around with that music, which is kind of funny considering the theme, or at least originally the hidden theme. I mean, obviously they changed that like right off the bat of the first episode, but it's cutesy, it's interesting, and I'm curious to see where it's gonna go. I'm definitely gonna keep watching. I hope you guys are gonna check this out as well. Like I said at the beginning, make sure you see it before you come see this. Although at this point, it's at the end of the review. If you hadn't seen it by now, I did warn you. But overall, like, check this out for yourself. I'm curious to see where it's gonna go. I'll be continuing watching this over time. But for now, this is StarPrincessHLC saying thank you very much for watching, and have a fond farewell. And let me know in the comments below what you would like to see me review next. Bye bye!